Hi everyone, this is Vinila from Indigolan. Today I came with a different topic so that I can make your concepts clear. First of all, I hope that your preparation is going on well with your business and technology paper. So the today topic I'll be discussing about is writers on organization culture. In this video, we'll be discussing about three writers who have given their theories on organization culture. The three writers will be covering today are Schein, Handy, and Hofstede. We'll start with Schein, then we'll cover Handy and Hofstede. First one, Schein. See, this writer had said that the first leaders of the company will create organization culture, and the future leaders will be selected for the organization only if they support the organization already established culture. So simply it means that the culture and the leadership have a direct link with each other. As the culture and leadership has direct link, it is will be very hard to change such cultures in the organization. So simply what you have to remember here is the first leaders, the one who established the organization, the one who led the organization during the beginning of the company, those are the leaders who will be creating the culture for the organization. And the future leaders will be selected only if they're ready to accept the already existing culture or if they're ready to support the original culture. That is what the view of Satan regarding organization culture. And he says that organization culture is divided into three levels. The first level is called artifacts, second level is called espoused values, and third level is called basic assumptions and values. So we'll be seeing these three levels clearly. The first one, artifacts. See, artifacts is a simple thing. He says that these are the aspects of culture which can be clearly seen, that can be seen through your naked eyes. See, someone if they're dressing in formals or informals, that can be seen. So depend the things which you can see clearly will be called as artifacts. So those cultural values of the organization which can be seen by the individuals clearly, those values will be called as artifacts. The first one. So artifacts are nothing but the aspects of the culture that can be easily seen. Example, the way the people dress, the way the people speak, the way the people greet each other, all things you can easily see, and those aspects will come under artifacts level. And the second level will be called as espoused values. What is espoused values means these cultural aspects will come from strategies and goals of the organization. So we'll derive the values from organization strategies and goals. Simply some organizations will have their company slogans. So these slogans will come under espoused values. The third type of cultural level is basic assumptions and values. See, you have to understand here this is completely opposite to artifacts. What I have said, artifacts means something which you can clearly see. So basic assumptions and values means something which you can't see. It will be in the subconscious level. It does not exist that you can see through naked eyes, but it exists in the subconscious level, which you can't easily see through your naked eyes. You have to understand it. So what happens here is artifacts is something which you can see clearly. Espoused values are the values that are coming from strategies and goals of the organization. And basic assumptions and values are these values which could not be seen through your naked eyes or which cannot be seen directly, which will be generally in the subconscious level. Subconscious level means that's something you can't see. See, what is running in your mind is something you know, but what is running in your subconscious mind is not clearly known to the people. So that is what here basic assumptions and values also. Basic assumptions and values are something which is difficult to identify or something which is unseen. They'll be generally in the subconscious level. So in these three levels, if a new employee enters into an organization, it will be easy for him to understand the first level artifacts, second level espoused values, but it will be difficult for him to understand the third level basic assumptions and values. For a shorter period of time, it is fine if he does not understand or if he is trying to understand, but if he wants to survive a longer period of time, he needs to understand basic assumptions and values also. If he does not understand basic assumptions and values, he can't survive in the company for a longer period of time. So this was a theory that was given by Satan. So simply, if we see the summary of what was a theory that was given by Satan, Understand this? Schein says that there is always a link between culture and leadership in the organization, and that too link is very strong that it is very difficult to change. And the second thing, future first leaders of the company will create this culture, and future leaders will just follow this culture, and they are not allowed to change it. If you are want to be a leader of the organization, first you have to support the already existing original culture. And the third thing, he has divided the organization culture into three different levels. The first level, artifacts, which can be clearly seen, the way we people speak, the way they address each other, or the language they speak at the office, the people, the way they dress, all these can be something easily can be seen. Those are called artifact, the first level. Second level, espoused values. So these are the values which are derived from strategies and goals of an organization. Generally, if you take any company slogan, the slogan will come from organization strategy or organization goal. So all these slogans will come under espoused values. The third one is basic assumptions and value, which is a difficult stage or difficult level to identify, because these can't be easy, can't be seen. They're unseen because they are existing at the unconscious level. So among these three levels, for a new employee, it will be easy for him to understand artifacts, understand espoused values, but difficult for him to understand basic assumptions and values. If he could not understand these basic assumptions and values, he can't survive in the company for a longer period of time. So this is what the theory that was given by Satan. Now let's move further and see the second theory that was given by Handy. This was the second theory, and Handy, he generally says that, or he generally divided cultural types into four, and each type he has denoted with a Greek god. So generally the four cultural types that was given by Handy are power culture, role culture, task culture, and people culture. One by one, we'll be discussing these cultures. The first one is power culture, and he denoted with a Greek god named Zeus. So, what was the first culture? Power culture, and denoted by Greek god named Zeus. First of all, remember here from examination point of view, knowing the culture, understanding the characteristics of a culture are important. But there is no need of remembering the Greek god names associated with the culture. Just have an idea, just give a reading once, but need not remember the Greek god names. So, any by chance, if you get, ensure that you are giving a reading so that you can remember in the exam. So, first, let's discuss about the power culture. This is in this culture, what happens is the major source will be power and influence. So what happens in this type of culture is what task you are doing, whether you are doing it well or not, what role you are playing, whether you have a high managerial role or a low operating role, it is not important for me. What was the power that was there in your hand? How much, how you can, to what extent you can influence people, that was given importance in this type of cultures. So if you take in a small organization, entrepreneurial type of structure, which you have learned in your second chapter, organizational structures and their type, we have seen that in entrepreneurial type of structure, you'll be having one person who is an entrepreneur, and he will be having around 3 to 4 employees working under him, and he'll be having a direct contact with them. In these small organizations, the power will be given more importance because the entrepreneur will be having the complete power in his hand, absolute power in his hand. Just he'll be controlling his subordinates through his power. So this type of culture where power and influence are the major sources, that type of culture will be called as power culture. So see the power culture, and it was denoted by Greek god Zeus. This there is one major source of power and influence. For example, in a smaller managed owner managed businesses, the owner may strive to maintain absolute control over the subordinates. That means he is trying to have a control over his complete control over his subordinates. And in these type of cultures, you'll be having few procedures and rules of a formal kind, as staff takes directions directly from the owner. See, only few people were there. What the need of having a policy document? I can simply inform all the rules and regulations that were there in the organization directly to my subordinates. So mostly you can see here this type of organization culture you can see in entrepreneurial structure. So this was what about power culture, and the second one is role culture. This role culture is denoted by Greek god Apollo. And what happens in this type of culture is the people in this version of culture, people describe their jobs by its duties, not by its purpose. So job description dictates what the way we do things around here, how we are doing this, the things that were around you. So you'll be describing on the basis of your duties, not on the purpose of your job. That means simply what role you are playing in the organization will be given importance. What power you have in the organization, or how much power you have, what task you are trying to complete, it was not be given importance, but what role you have in this organization will be given importance. Generally, most of this role culture you will be seeing in bureaucratic organizations. Bureaucratic organizations. So what are bureaucratic organizations? These are the organizations which will give importance to hierarchies and status, will be given importance to rules and regulations. So in this type of organizations, you will be seeing role culture. I want you people to understand that this in this role culture, what happens is if you have power, that is not important for me. If you have any task to achieve and you are best at doing those tasks, that is not important for me. What role you are playing in this organization? Are you MD of the organization, managing director? Are you CEO of the organization, CFO of the organization? The role you are playing, the duties you have through that role, that will be given importance, not either the task or not either the power. So those type of organizations will be having role culture, which will be who will be given importance to role. And mostly understand this point important. This role culture will be seen in bureaucratic organizations. What is a bureaucratic organization is here in these organizations, the hierarchy level, chain of command, and the status you are having in that organization will be given strong importance. So see what was given in this book, role culture. In this version of culture, people describe their job by its duties, not by its purpose. What is the purpose of the job? It is not even given importance. What were your duties will be given importance. So job describes the way we do things around here. This would be seen in bureau. Way we do things means what were the rules you are following, what was the hierarchy you will be following, what status you have in the organization, that will be given importance. This would be seen in bureaucratic organizations where the structure determines the authority and authority you have, and from the authority, what responsibilities you have. And there is a strong emphasis on hierarchy and status. So understand the characteristics of role culture. This role culture will generally be seen in stable environments where the organization environment will remain stable and the work performed by employees will be same and it will rarely changes. When you have a rare change in the work that was done by employees and where you have a stable environment in the organization, those organizations mostly adopt role culture. They mostly adopt role culture. Next one is task culture. The third type of culture that was given by Handy is task culture. This task culture is denoted by Greek god Athena. So, what is given importance in the task culture? See, what power you have. I don't concern about the power you have or how many people you are influencing the organization. That is not important for me here. Or what is your duties, what is your authority and responsibilities. That is also not important for me. I gave you a particular task and I gave you deadline for the task to be completed, whether you have achieved it or not. That means that task culture will give importance to the particular task that was there in your hand was met in deadlines. Ensure that you're completing your task that was there in your hand as per the deadlines. That will be given importance in task culture type of organizations. The emphasis here is on achieving the particular task at hand, and staff may be need to be flexible to ensure deadlines are met. So what is important, what will be I'm expecting from staff of my organization is whatever the task that was there in your hand and what were the deadlines we have put for it, ensure that you are meeting the completing those tasks within those deadlines. People therefore describe their position in the terms of results they have achieved. So whether I will be describing your positions on the basis of your results, not on the basis of your power, not on the basis of the role you are playing, but on the basis of the result that you have achieved from the tasks. Nothing is allowed to get in the way of task accomplishment. So, in this type of cultures, for me, completing task is very important. Nothing should be come in the way of completing these tasks. Mostly you'll see in this type of culture in project teams, which will exist for a specific task. See, why you'll be having a particular team for a project so that they could complete the project within the deadlines. So in the when you are having a team for a project or for completing a specific task, generally you'll be seeing task culture in those type of teams. This was about your task culture. And I hope you people will not get confused with role culture and task culture. In role culture, the role you are playing, along with the authority you are getting from that role and the responsibilities you are getting from that authority, will be given importance. Here, what role you are playing and what authorities and responsibilities you have, that is not important. What is the task that is there in your hand and whether you are completing or accomplishing this task within deadlines, that is given importance in task culture. Make sure that you are not getting confused with role in task culture. If you are getting confused, try to listen it again so that your concept will become clear. Next one, the last one, person culture. So this was denoted by Greek god Dionysus. This is sometimes called an existential culture and is characterized by the fact it exists to satisfy the requirements of particular individuals. This is what the important point you have to know. See, generally in person culture, what we'll do is we'll do the work or we'll complete the task to satisfy the requirements of particular individual. That is, we are giving importance to person in the organization, the people who are involved in the organization. That is called as person culture. Generally, you will find this person culture in small, highly participatory organizations where individuals undertake all the duties themselves. Take the simple example called barrister, lawyers. It is found in an organization whose purpose is to serve the interest of the individuals within it. So why I am trying to do the work in that organization is my interest of doing the work is to satisfy the interest of the individuals who are involved in the organization. So as I am trying to serve the interest of individuals, I am trying to satisfy the requirement of those individuals. Then I simply say that we are following a person culture. So mainly these organizations will depend upon talent of the individuals because you're trying to satisfy few people. Only you can satisfy the people through your satisfy the requirements of people through your talent. So these organizations will depend upon talent of the individual. Mostly you can see in professional organizations like finance professionals, uh, placing a firm like by CAs, ACCAs, lawyers. These are professional people who will run the organization depending upon the talent that they have. So that using the talent, they'll try to satisfy the requirements of the individuals. So the culture we'll be following in those organizations will be person culture. That's why we simply say that it is found in small and highly participatory organization. Every individual is participating in the duties by themselves because they want to satisfy the requirements of the individuals. So this is what the whole about four different types of cultures that was given by Handy. So the first one is power culture, where the major importance or major source is power and influence. Role culture, the importance will be given to the authority and responsibilities of individual. You will be describing your job based upon your duties, not on its purpose. Task culture. Here you will be given importance on the basis of the results that you have achieved by completing a task that was there in your hand as per the deadlines. Person culture. Mainly you will be seeing this culture where people, individuals involved in the organization are trying to satisfy the requirements of the individuals. So mostly power culture will be seen in entrepreneurial type of structures. Role culture will be seen in bureaucratic organizations. Task culture can be seen mostly in the teams which are established for completing a particular project. Person culture will be seen in small organizations where all the people will be all the people will be highly participatory and trying to complete the duties to satisfy the requirements of the individuals. And in power culture, as it is seen in entrepreneurial type of structure, that means where the owners strive to maintain absolute power control or power over subordinates. In role culture, you will be seeing this type of culture where there is a stable environment and employees will be having rare same job and their job will rarely change. In task culture, mostly importance will be given to task accomplishments. And people culture, importance will be given to satisfying the individuals that were involved in the organization. I hope the four types of culture that was given by Handy were clear. So let's move to the last type of culture that was given by Hofstede. So first of all, what you have to understand about him is the first one, Sachin or Handy, they have given their theories in a descriptive form without any experiments. But what Haftardi has done is he has done a practical experiment with 1 lakh employees of IBM, employees who were there in the different parts of the world. So what he has done is he went to different branches that were opened or that was there by the IBM in different parts of the world and he tried to see their behaviors who are there in the different parts of the world, and he mostly experimented with 1 lakh employees. After doing the experiment with 1 lakh employees in a practical way, then he has came with 4 cultural dimensions. The first dimension he speaks about is individualism versus collectivism. So what is this individualism and what is this collectivism? First, let me speak from the perspective of individualism. See, in individualism, the individual person's performance and his achievements will be given importance. I mean, as a single person, as an individual in the organization, what you have achieved, that will be given importance. But in collectivism, the importance will not be given to particular individual, but given importance for a group of people. That means we will be assessing you on the basis of your group performance, not on the individual performance. Whether the group has achieved the task or group have achieved the group goals, that will be given importance in collectivism. So in individualism, assessment will be on individuals, but in collectivism, assessment will be on the overall group. So simply there will be two words: high individualism and low individual. Low individualism is something simply will be called as collectivism. So in high individualism, staff expected to be assessed on their own achievements and performance, on their own, not on the group's performance or achievements, but on their own achievements and performance. That means individual achievements and performance. What is low individualism? That is collectivism. The staff expects to be assessed on group basis and prefer the organization to set group goals. So we will be given importance to group goals and assessment will be also done in group basis, not on individual basis. So in Anglo-Saxon cultures, we will see mostly individualistic culture and in than the collective cultures of South America. But in South America, mostly will be see collective cultures. Different countries will have different types of cultures. There's the first one, individualism versus collectivism. See, these were simple topics. Even though he has said something like individualism, collectivism, you can simply understand that if individual's performance is given high importance, then the type of culture is following high individualistic culture. If group's performance is given more importance, simply I say that this organization is giving importance to collectivism more and it is not preferring individual's performance or it is not giving importance to individualism. So second triad that was brought by Hofstede, uncertainty avoidance index. So what is this uncertainty avoidance index? Uncertainty, that means what is going to happen in the future, we are not clear about it. And as it is not clear, we will try to avoid those uncertainties. Something which is sure, something which is certain, that you are very 100% sure that it is going to happen, then you will try to encourage those things in the organization. But if you are trying to avoid uncertainty, you don't want to encourage it, you don't want to take any risk because it is uncertain because we don't know what is going to happen. Those type of cultures will be where you'll be finding more uncertainty avoidance. So generally, you will be seeing in the organizations two types of cultures. Either an organization or employees who will be having high uncertainty avoidance, or an organization who will be having low uncertainty avoidance. So if an organization has high uncertainty avoidance means they don't want to act beyond their comfort zones. They always want to follow the formal rules and regulations that were set by the management. They want to be directed by management. They don't want to take decisions by themselves. They don't want to generate new ideas. They want a normal job where they'll be directed by management and they'll be following those directions. They'll be following the rules and regulations that were existed in the organization. Such type of culture is called as high unavoidance, uncertainty avoidance culture. So what is low uncertainty avoidance? So these people are ready to take risk. They don't want to avoid uncertainty, but they want to have uncertainty in their task because where there is high risk, there will be generally high return. So these people, what they have the characteristic is they'll come out of their comfort zones. They'll try to work hard. They generally don't like a bureaucratic type of culture where hierarchies, rules, and regulations were given importance. They will be generally liking a freedom in their culture. They don't want to generate, they want to generally generate their own ideas. They want to take risks. They want to come out of their comfort zone and want to perform more well. So generally these type of cultures we will call them as low uncertainty. Low uncertainty avoidance index means they're ready to accept uncertainties. They want to take the risk that comes from uncertainties. Along with that, they want to enjoy the returns that were coming with that risk. So generally, these are the different types of cultures. Will be this different type of high uncertainty avoidance culture or low uncertainty avoidance culture will be finding in organizations. Generally, France and Japan will be a countries who use bureaucracy. That means these are the countries which en- mm, entertain or they encourage high uncertainty avoidance culture. That means they don't want uncertainty; they want stability in their organizations. The next third one is power distance index. So what is this power distance index? See, to the extent to which the less powerful members of organization and institutions accept and expect that power is distributed unequally, not equally but unequally. Take a manager, and above him there will be board of directors, and below him there will be either assistant manager or a supervisor or direct employees working under him. See how he wa- he is behaving with his board superiors, how he is accepting his orders. The same way he wants his lower level people to accept his orders. He doesn't want to encourage democratic ideas. He just wants them to follow his decisions. He does not involve these people in decision making. Generally, these people might be encouraging him to give decision. These people might board of directors might be allowing manager to sit in the decision making decision making programs and ask his ideas also. But he might be a person who will not allow his superior juniors to sit in the decision making. That means that the distance between board of directors and manager is low power distance index. Distance between manager and his juniors is high power distance index. So what is this low power distance index and high power distance index? In high power distance culture, it expects to answer to powerful managers. I'm ready to answer to board of directors as a manager, but I don't want any inputs from my juniors. Just I want to follow them my ideas. I don't want any ideas from my juniors. Expect to answer to powerful managers and do not expect to have any democratic inputs into the decisions that are made. If you are superior to me, fine, I'll allow you to speak with me. I'll allow you to give ideas because you are more powerful than me. But if a junior comes and wants to share his ideas, I will not encourage it. What happens in low power distance culture is these people are expected to be involved with the decision making process and wants less direct supervision by managers. That means that generally manager and the junior level people are there. These two people will sit together. Manager generally allows lower level people to sit in the decision making process, and the people who are working under this manager also, they expect that less directions were given by managers and they have their own power to make decisions. So this is what about your high power distance index. High power distance index, generally you'll be ready to answer to powerful managers, but you doesn't expect democratic input decisions from your lower level people. In low power distance index, it is opposite to high. Generally, you'll be allowed in decision making process, and as a lower level people, you generally want less supervision by your manager because you want yourself to take decisions in your own activities. This is what about power distance index. Is masculinity versus femininity. So what is this masculinity versus femininity is, generally in masculine type of cultures, focus will be most on work, power and success. But in feminine type of cultures, there will be given importance for motivating individuals. They'll be giving importance to work-life balance and having good relationships at workplace. Mostly, they'll be having most importance to quality of life. But in masculine type of culture, if I'm having work, through that work I'm achieving success and I'm getting into more powerful positions, that is enough. But in femininity, just not work or power is enough for me. I want to concentrate on my personal life also. I need a work life balance and I want to have relationships at work which will be good to motivate me along with my co-employees. That is the difference between masculine type of culture and feminine type of culture. Mostly this masculine type of cultures you can see in Japan country, and feminine type of culture you can see in Finland, Norway, Denmark. These type of countries will encourage femininity in their organizations. So employees in masculine culture can be motivated. How you'll motivate in a masculine type of culture? Generally, you will be want more job titles, increase the status, pay rises. Because in masculine type of culture, you are giving importance and work, power, and success. So how you'll get more power through increase your status? You giving more job titles and increase in your pay rise. But in feminine type of culture, if you want to motivate these people, you want to give them more work-life balance, quality of life, and relationship at work. So simply, masculine will focus on work, power, and success. Feminine will focus on quality of life, work-life balance, and relationships. Firstly, when Hofstede has done research on 1 lakh IBM employees, he came with 4 theories or 4 trades. But later, when he continued with his experiment, he came with other 2 different cultural types. So, what was these 2 cultural types are? Long-term orientation versus short-term orientation, intelligence versus restraint. The simple things. These were 2 simple things. In long-term orientation type of culture, people will focus on future rewards. So as people have the focus on future, these people will have a mentality or characteristics like saving, and they will be have the, as they know the predict about future, they'll be ready to adopt with the changes that were going to happen. But in short time oriented cultures, what they'll focus on is either they'll focus on past or present, and they'll never give importance to future. Generally these people give respect to traditions, social obligations. If they save face for today, if everything goes for them today well enough, it is good for them. What happens in the future, they're not worried about that because their focus is for short term. If everything is going on good for me today, it is enough. What happens in the future, leave it, because I am not a person who concerned about future. So in long term orientation, their picture will be on future also. But short term oriented people will focus on past and present. And the last culture that was given by Haftar is indulgence versus restraint. So, what is this indulgence? Is generally you are free to make decisions. You are free to allow to have fun and enjoy your life. That is called as indulgence. But what happens in restraint is it is opposite to indulgence. In restraint type of cultures, you will be having strict social norms, rules, and regulations to follow. You will not be allowed to enjoy life freely. You are not allowed to have the fun. So that is what a restrained type of culture is. See, in India, if you go through an example where women were generally will have a restricted freedom compared to men. So what was it? Because that was social norm that we are having in the society from past many years. So that simply you can say that women are having a restrained type of culture. So slowly it was changing, but still it was there some or the other corners of the country. So you can say simply say that it was a restrained type of culture. But in intelligence type of culture, where they have given their own freedom, they're allowed to enjoy their life in their own way. Relatively, you are you'll be allowed to freely enjoy your own things. That is what called as indulgence type of culture. So completely, Hofstede has given you 6 different cultural types. First one is indulgence versus restraint. We'll go from back. Second one, long-term orientation versus short-term orientation. And the third one is power distance index. And fourth one is uncertainty avoidance index. Fifth one is masculinity versus femininity. And the sixth one is the first one, intelligence versus collectivism. See, this is not in a rule that you have to follow one after the other. Any six, all the six, any time you can see. So there are 6 type of cultures that was given by the overall. These were the 3 different cultural types that was given by 3 different writers. This is an important concept for your exam. And what he will be asking you generally from these cultural types is either he can ask you a direct question by giving you some cultural type and ask you whether it's a role culture or whether this organization is following long-term orientation or short-term orientation. That question can be there. Or he'll be describing an organization and he'll try to tell the characteristics of that organization and ask you to find what cultural type this organization is depicting or following or showing. This can be a question you can have. So direct question or a theoretical question can be expected from this topic, and almost it is too important that at least 2 to 3 questions, at least 2 will be there from this chapter. So make sure that you are understanding the whole concept that was given by writers and you are able to remember all the characteristics that were given for each cultural type. And generally, if he describes any organization and says that this is what an organization is, or simply say that there was an organization in which the employees is generally focus on the rewards, they focus on their salary rise, they focus on their power, and they focus on their job titles. So if you want to motivate such type of employees, you have to give them either increase in pay or more power in the organization. So which type of cultural trait this organization is depicting or the employees of the organization is depicting. So what was the answer? We have already seen that when focus is on power, salary rise and success, those type of cultures will be called as masculine type of cultures. So out of options, he'll be giving you masculine, femininity, and he'll be giving you uncertainty or avoidance or high uncertainty, low uncertainty, or long term, short term, whatever the options he'll give you. But one option will be masculinity. So answer is masculinity. You can just choose answer. So don't just try to get the concept directly. Just try to use it in a different way so that if you ask any question in indirect way also, you are clear with it. So if your concepts were clear, any question he asks, you'll be able to answer it. So I hope that this session was a fruitful session for you. And whatever the concepts that you are not clear with this cultural types, I hope now they are clear. So next time I'll come with a different topic with more concepts. Thank you.